So today is the first day that we are properly settled into our new home. It has been an extremely hectic past 1.5 weeks of us just moving all of our furniture, selling all of our furniture and then packing up our entire last apartment, moving into this one, and then I've just been buying a bunch of furniture off of Marketplace and placing orders and stuff like that. But I think for the most part, I have got all the essentials for this place. So I want to show you guys a little bit of a empty tour for it to go from what it is right now to a place that we can truly call home. And with this past week just being super hectic and kind of physically exhausting, I'm a little bit sick. So forgive me if I'm sniffling throughout the video and if I have a little bit of a cold, but that's just the reality of what I'm dealing with right now. So this condo was built in the 1980s, so it definitely has some elements of, older style homes, just like this brick fireplace behind me. So we do have a fireplace in the back corner of our living room. Now it's definitely going to be hard designing around this fireplace, but this is a 2-bedroom condo and this is like the smallest room. Both bedrooms are bigger than the living room. So definitely cramming everything to be in a living space in this living room is going to be a little bit difficult. But when it comes to designing a living room or just any space in general, you have to ask yourself a few things. You have to ask yourself, what am I optimizing for? Do I want this place to be optimized for entertainment, for reading, for lounging, or for like socializing? I think those are like the few elements that you can think about when you're designing a space. And for this living room, I definitely wanted to optimize it for reading and for prayer, for praying salah and for reading and bettering the mind, and as well as socializing. So not so much for entertainment, and I don't want to stick a big TV into this condo, and I'm going to get to that in a bit of the solution that I've found. But I really want this living room and this downstairs area to be separate from the upstairs. I don't want to have it fully cohesive. So I want the upstairs to be, the bedroom, and then also going to be my office. But down here, I want it to be more of a homier feeling. So yeah, this is going to be the main focal point of the living room, and honestly it's going to be one of the harder things to design. If you guys have any ideas on how to design like a fireplace and to get rid of this like whitewash like material or stain that's on this brick wall, please do let me know. This as well is going to be an obstacle that I need to come over. But because this little wood area over here goes into the corner, it doesn't come up straight. It kind of makes things very difficult because you have a flat fireplace right here, but then over here on up top you have this board that goes inwards, and it's not just a flat board that I can just put wallpaper on top. It literally has these arrows, like these wooden panels that go inward into the corner. So I think a good solution of mine that I'm thinking about is probably putting like some hanging plants to kind of help give the illusion that this is just a flat wall of some sort. But I don't know, if you guys have any ideas, do let me know down below. On this main wall over here in the living room, this is probably going to be where the entertainment center is, and I actually bought a Samsung frame TV, which is only 43 inches, so it shouldn't take up too much space because I don't want a TV to take up this entire wall. Although the Samsung frame TV can double as some artwork, which is the main reason obviously why I got it, but I just want this area to be more of a place that I can create content because we have some big outdoor lighting that comes into the living room. One of the biggest obstacles here as well is the wall has this kind of like light brown / beige color. But yeah, so basically this corner is also going to function as a prayer corner because the Qibla is that way. So I would like to put it in that corner, which I'll show you in just a second, but this is probably going to be the most ideal place for a prayer corner so you can watch the sunset because the sun sets right over there. And so yeah, so we're going to have an entertainment center over here. I might do something with, I don't know what I'm going to do, but we're going to do something cool. All right, so this is the second wall that I was telling you about. I'm going to do floor to ceiling bookshelves, and I want to create a little reading nook over here. So like I said in the last clip, this living room is to be optimized for praying and reading and just socializing. So I want it to be a little cozy corner where in the winters we can enjoy like a nice crackling firewood. We can pray salah, we can talk, we can read books, and I'm going to have all my entire collection of my library over here. So I can't wait. I already ordered the bookshelves. They're coming in a few days. I'm going to unbox that probably in this vlog if it comes in time. If not, then definitely in the next one. This current sofa that we have right now is the Kivik IKEA sofa. and I actually was able to pick it up from Facebook Marketplace for like literally half the price, which is the only reason why I got it. But as soon as I, put it all together and put it inside of the living room, I realized it's a bit too bulky. So yeah, this is just a temporary solution right now until I find another sofa, inshallah. Now I know it's kind of hard to see me because I'm backlit, but I hope the audio is good and you guys can just hear it. But I'm going to install some floor to ceiling curtains that are going to be sheer as well across this entire window, so it kind of really elevates the space. Even though we're dealing with not the highest ceilings, these are about maybe 8-foot ceilings, maybe 9-foot ceilings, but I really want to find a way to soften the light that comes in. Also, the outdoors is all over the place. I'm calling a landscaping guy and we're going to get that situated. It's going to be a project of its own, and I promise you this is probably the last time you're going to see it like this. But yeah guys, so when it comes to the layout of the living room, it's probably going to be one of the hardest things that I'm going to have to do. I don't know if I'm going to be putting the sofa here, or if I'm going to be keeping it over there, or I don't know if I'm going to be putting the reading nook and bookshelves on this wall or that wall. All of that is going to be able to be decided after all the furniture comes in, inshallah. All right, again, you guys, forgive the mess because we still got little boxes and stuff that we're still getting rid of and some furniture that we need to build. But this is the room that I'm most excited for, mainly because this is going to be the home cafe. So essentially in the daytime and in the evening, it's going to be the home cafe slash co-working productivity center for the family. We're intending to put a matcha station over here, a coffee station over here, and then to just put some floating shelves as well on the walls. Yeah, I'm going to add a bench over here on this little side of the table. But I managed to get this blocky solid wood desk off of Facebook Marketplace. It is a beautiful table. I believe it is from CB2 in a walnut finish for like a fraction of the price, as well as the chairs. Obviously, the elephant in the room is this light fixture. All of the light fixtures in the apartment we are going to be changing. So from the ceiling fans to those like weird bulb looking lights to this stuff, I'm definitely going to be hanging like a pendant lamp. I don't want this place to look super cozy, and I don't want it to look super loungy either, mainly because it's going to be a co-working space. It's going to be a place where me and Sarah can sit down for hours at a time, have late nights, early mornings, meetings. Everything's going to take place on this table, but at nighttime, it's going to transform itself into a candle night dinner. So yeah, this is going to be the most exciting room for me, at least, I also do want to talk to you guys about creativity and kind of what is required for creativity. Creativity in its own name, to create something. It's when you don't have much, when you don't have anything, you have to create solutions. You have to be creative with this space, So obviously this condo is very different from our last apartment. And you can tell that there's a lot of creativity that is required. But honestly, for me personally, it's what really kind of amps me up to want to make this place my own and to really kind of put that mid-century modern twist of my own and to really uplift this area. All right, and well, welcome to the kitchen area. This place is pretty basic. It's a kitchen. You have your fridge, you have your stove, you have your dishwasher. And like I said earlier, there are some elements of just older stuff. So this entire wood, like a veneer countertop, is going to be replaced. My wife already bought some walnut vinyl to match the dining table. So yeah, this is going to be going. But this is pretty much it that we have for the kitchen. Now this is a little bit of a breakfast area. Right now my wife just has her matcha station over here, but we're going to be putting like a breakfast table, like a circular breakfast table over here. But that is what that corner is going to serve. All right, so now we are currently in what is going to be the creative studio office headquarters of the brand, Headed Home. And basically I'm going to be running the brand outside of this little tiny room, packing orders, creating content and all of that. Right now, basically, all I have is all of my stuff on the floor over here, and I have some samples over there for the t-shirts that are going to be dropping in the summer, inshallah. But I basically just have everything laid out over here. My beautiful wife was able to do everything very organized because she knows how orderly I like everything. I have my monitor, my printer, I have a little bit of a C-stand, and just, some just miscellaneous items over here, and just like a pile of clothes. But what I am super excited about also, that is going to go for sure. This mirror right over here is going to be replaced. That's going to be replaced as well. And we're going to have some floor to ceiling sheer curtains as well, going from this little border right up there all the way to that wall, so that this way I can shoot content this way, and it can be nicely diffused, like the light. But yeah, that's basically the office. So this is a room that I have given the least amount of thought, just because all of my focus have been in the bathrooms, the living room downstairs, co-working space, and the bedroom. This office, I don't know why, I just kind of disregarded it. I think for the most part, I just know that this is going to be a room that I can really take my time with. And so long as the rest of the house looks good and I'm happy with it, that I can be at peace. And so this is the bedroom. We have been living on the mattress, being on the floor, and it's not much going on right now, but I do have a bed frame coming in sometime this week, and my wife is actually going to be the one that's going to be designing and taking care of all of the design when it comes to this bedroom as well as the master bathroom. So we are kind of chasing more of the spring summer feel with the blue tones and just, you know, kind of dressing it up with blue. In due time, hopefully in the next video, I'm going to have a lot more major updates and probably little mini renovations that I can share with you guys. But essentially, I think because there's so many different types of rooms in this condo, we have the office, we have the co-working space, we have the kitchen, and then we also have the living room. I really want this bedroom to feel the most homey. Like, of course, this entire building is going to feel like home to me, but I want this room to like be an escape. Like when I come into this bedroom, I want to feel like it's an escape, you know? So that is the intention that we are leading forward with. I feel like whenever you're consuming a lot of social media, you're constantly coming across people who are achieving things in their life and they're leveling up, they're buying houses, they're pumping out babies, they're getting new cars, they're getting promoted in jobs, they're making a lot of money. And you can tend to compare yourselves, or at least I tend to compare myself a lot to people online, which obviously you guys know is not a good thing at all, you know? But my last chapter living in like Houston downtown has been what I would call a bad chapter of life, you know? And I think from a young age, I was so used to life feeling like it was on this linear climb, you know, like I was at an all-time low going to boarding school, like memorizing Quran and everything. And that's when kind of like the arc started, and I started getting into self-improvement and productivity and like self-development and all these things in business. And I started to grow my social medias and build businesses and, you know, build a brand and everything like that. And like I got married and life was just on this slow and steady incline. But then right after I got married, Allah has definitely like humbled me in that sense, where he just gave me a period where nothing was happening. And I felt stuck and I felt lost. And honestly, I felt very kind of scared and afraid that I thought like, you know, I just became a husband. I felt like I was done. Like I just felt stale, you know? And maybe a lot of you guys can relate to this, maybe you can't, but it's definitely something I can relate to now, is just having a chapter where you feel lost and having a chapter where you feel like nothing is moving. And I used to beat myself up a lot for feeling that way. I would give myself so much pressure, like, oh my God, Yusuf, no, you know, you have to figure it all out. You have to have like something in plan because you're married now, you're a married man. But through the grace of Allah and through a lot of, you know, like patience and grace from my wife as well, Sarah, I realized that that's not the case. Sometimes you have to be patient with yourself. Sometimes in life, you're going to have moments and you're going to have a chapter where nothing is really going on, and you have to sit with yourself and be okay with that, you know, be it 6 months, 1 month, 1 year, you know, hopefully not more than a year for any of you guys, because it's painful, you know, to be in a position where you want to be doing your best and you want to be your best version, but you fall deeper and deeper and deeper into that, you know, gray area of life and kind of like in that limbo area of life. So maybe I can make a full video on this later on like how I was able to find myself again and to really, you know, attack life with my best foot forward. But one of the biggest things that I've done for myself is prioritizing my mental health. And one of the things I've done for that was actually moving away from the city now deeply into a suburb, you know, and just reconnecting with the things that I actually feel are real to me. I was journaling about it a couple of weeks ago because I've been meaning to tell you guys about this, but I realized that sometimes you have to lose your way so that you can write your own map, you know? Sometimes you have to get lost so that you can figure out your own way back to where you're trying to go, you know? But I don't think getting married young and navigating life in your 20s is anything close to easy. I just want to put that out there and kind of normalize the struggle that comes along with getting married, moving out, taking care of a person, having another person take care of you, like going through all these different life changes. And I know now opening up this new chapter, because it truly does feel like I'm flipping a page in a book. I feel like I am putting all of that bad energy and that bad stuff behind me. And I think when it comes to new chapters of your life, you really have to put your best foot forward, because if you're coming into a new chapter of life and you know it's going to be a chapter of growth, there's a very high chance that you're going to be taking a lot of baggage from the bad chapter. And you have to do your due diligence to sit with yourself, to journal out your thoughts, and to really have a conversation with yourself. Because at least that's what I did, you know? And you have to leave all of that bad juju behind, whatever you want to call it, you know? But I just know that this new chapter, being in this new environment, being around new people, being in a new gym and everything like that, and even just creating my brand, Headed Home, is going to give me a lot more purpose. It's going to give me a lot more to be happy to wake up every single morning. You guys know what I'm trying to say. It's like, when you have a new chapter of life, you really have to put the effort into creating a good life, okay? You have to be intentional with what you do every single day. You have to be intentional with your habits and the things that affect you, okay? And just be aware. And I do want to get back to that version of myself, a lot of the versions that many of you guys know, you know? Because if I'm being completely honest, alhamdulillah, I am very, very grateful that this is my full-time job. And I'm so grateful that documenting my life, sharing things about my life, sharing things with you guys is my full-time job. But you know, that comes with its own pros and cons. And I don't want to sound like I'm complaining or anything like that. I just wanted to shed light on, if you've had a bad chapter in your life, or if you're going through a transitional period in your life, it's okay to feel kind of numb and to feel kind of uncertain, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say with you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this new home diaries, and yeah, take care, homies.